Good morning, everybody. Zach Thompson here. Today I'm going to talk to you about switching between Windows and Mac computers when it's time for you to purchase a new one. I know that the big trend nowadays is to switch over to Apple because they're so cool and they have so many awesome apps, and supposedly it's completely user-friendly. However, I'm going to go ahead and let you know that because of my extensive experience between both systems, I can tell you right now, if you're switching from one to another, especially in the middle of a semester or you just don't have time to dedicate to learn the new operating system, it might be in your best interest to go ahead and stick with what you know, per se Windows. If you're looking at purchasing a new computer and you've been using a Windows-based computer, when you switch over to an Apple, it's actually going to be a lot more difficult than you anticipate. I know that Apple has done a good job at making the transition as simple as possible, giving you tutorials and everything like that. However, we have to be frank and be honest and understand that nowadays it's a Windows-based era. They're struggling to be an up-and-coming, and they're awesome for certain things. However, most corporations and most schools still use Windows as their means of computer bases here. So what we can do is, if you've used a computer in the past, like an HP, a Sony, a Dell, Toshiba, you've begun hearing about the new Mac computers, and that they say that there's so many benefits to switching over to a Mac, and they're so much easier. However, like I've said, I definitely recommend just sticking with what you know, because unless you have a very significant amount of time to familiarize yourself with a new system, it's actually going to make it very difficult to switch between the two. What we have to look at the same time is typically a Windows-based system is going to be less expensive for something. I mean, you can go out and buy an HP that'll do anything that any of us need for probably about $500, and that's actually including a warranty that's based for 3 years through the company itself. However, if you get a Mac, you're looking at the same computer, all given it might be a half-pound lighter, but you're looking at about $800 or $900 without question, and it only comes with a 1-year warranty. So now that we've mentioned a couple of the differences between the two computers and the benefits to each one, let's look a little bit further into depth, and I'll show you why sticking with a Windows-based computer is going to be your best option. We'll start with Macs. Say the MacBook, like the MacBook Pro computer. It's got a similar operating system, similar to Windows, that is, and however, when you're crossing over from a Windows platform, it can be somewhat confusing because there are significant differences in how you do just basic operations. Like we've covered, a cost of a MacBook Pro is approximately $1,200, and that's through the Army and Air Force exchange program. However, if you go to a civilian side and you purchase one, it's about $1,500 for the basic model of the MacBook Pro. Also, when you look into an Apple, you have to consider the software applications that are available. Software is not as plentiful, especially if you need something that can cross between both. The software for a Mac is going to be at least $100 just for something that can save in a Windows format, which you're going to need at one point or another, just for school or for work, because we all work in the military, and that's exactly what the military uses, is definitely Windows-based programs like Microsoft Office. So those are a couple of the options that Mac offers, and we'll go ahead and we'll throw out the Windows comparison now here. Typical computers, typical businesses for computers and word processing definitely stick with Windows. Same thing with schools, like I mentioned. So that's one outstanding way to just make your life easy and not try to switch, is just by sticking with a Windows operating system. A Windows-based computer that's equivalent to a MacBook Pro, your baseline MacBook Pro, you can get the equivalent for approximately $900. So if we add them up, that's a saving, and that's from an actual store, no matter where it is. That's an approximate savings of about $500 to $600 just for a comparable computer. So an HP, a Sony, a Toshiba, they're all going to be significantly cheaper than a MacBook Pro. Thousands of software applications that are options. You can go between, they're compatible for every business or school. There's so many options on, say, Microsoft Office. Yeah, it might be an expensive program. However, for us in the military, you can get it for approximately $10. At the same time, you have so many different options just in that program. not to mention the thousands of other programs that are available for anything that you can possibly ever need to do. They're easy to use, and of course if you have to do any troubleshooting, most computers now, especially Windows-based ones, have an automatic system that it comes up and asks if you're having a problem, and it'll take you directly to someone that can help you troubleshoot the problem. So we've compared Mac and Windows-based systems. So what can we draw from the conclusion here? As we looked into the basics of comparing both Windows and Mac, we can draw several things. First, the Mac computers can be confusing when you're switching from a Windows-based system, and second, Mac computers are typically more expensive when compared with something of the equivalent from a Windows-based machine. Third, with the amount of software applications that are available for Windows-based computers versus Mac, they're seriously disadvantaged on the Mac side because of the popularity and the everyday use of Windows-based computers. So ultimately, if you're used to using a Windows-based computer and you don't have significant amounts of time to invest in switching over to an Apple, the best option for you is just probably to stick with a Windows-based computer. By doing this, you'll save money, time, maintain compatibility with everything that you're going to need to do right now, and you can keep all your programs, files, and everything that you have without having to switch between anything. So I hope you can take into some of the considerations, and I look forward to seeing you on a Windows-based machine.